Did you ever read Bill Clinton's My Life?
I don't think I could read a biography by him, to be fair.
He had one wild thing to say about the moon landing.
What did he say?
Really wild. Well, he was saying that he was working. I think he was doing construction in 1969 and showed up for work. See if you can find the quote so I don't paraphrase it. I think it's page 241 of Bill Clinton's My Life. I might have the page wrong. So in this scenario, he's talking to this carpenter. And he's telling this carpenter, isn't it crazy? They landed on the moon. And the carpenter says something to the sound of, I don't believe anything those television fellers say. And he goes, I think they can fake anything, somewhere along that line. And he goes, back then, I thought that guy was a crank. He goes, but after my 8 years in the White House, I started thinking maybe he's ahead of his time. Now, just imagine saying that about the biggest achievement in human history, landing another human being on the surface of a moon, another planet, essentially. 1/4 the size of our planet, 250-something thousand miles away. And he's saying, maybe this guy who thought it was fake is ahead of his time. That's not something you accidentally say. That's not something you frivolously write down and just add it to your book. Did you find the quote?
Yeah. That is, I got to see that real quote because that's some really heavy subtext
Jamie will
there.
find it. But when you read it, you're like, wait, what the fuck did he say? Like, and it got kind of glossed over except for the moon landing hoax community who went, yeah, I told you it's fake. But that's interesting. And that guy wrote all that longhand, by the way. He wrote that all on, composition books, just notebooks. Wrote it all out.
And then it was just transcribed?
And then it was transcribed, yeah. So this is
That's
not like
pretty-
an accident that he told this story. Imagine saying that. Imagine saying that this guy who thought the moon landing was fake, maybe he was ahead of his time. You find it yet?
Honestly, I can only find it written on Wikipedia, and it's linking to the book, but this is what it says on Wikipedia.
There it is. Perfectly. Okay, here goes. Just a month before, Apollo 11 astronauts Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong had left their colleague Michael Collins aboard Spaceship Columbia and walked on the moon. The old carpenter asked me if I really believed it happened. I said, sure, I saw it on television. He disagreed. He said that he didn't believe it for a minute, that them television fellers could make things look real that weren't. Back then, I thought he was a crank. During my 8 years in Washington, I saw some things on TV that make me wonder if he wasn't ahead of his time.
Well, that's very weird and cryptic because he says, I saw some things on TV that made me wonder. So,
yeah, meaning like things that were displayed to the American public that were horseshit. Some things that are on TV that people are getting to look at where he knows it's not real.
Right.
So he's wondering.
And by dragging the moon into it, there's just no way that you can do anything but infer that he's referencing
Of course.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them.
And has anyone ever asked him
there's also
about that on follow-up?
That ... could be a nice edit for this. 'Cause this is a Wikipedia
It is
about
Wikipedia.
the conspiracy, moon landing conspiracies. That's why I couldn't find it somewhere else. I was trying to find
No.
it.
I've read the quote.
Okay.
It's just more of the same. It's just abbreviated. The whole thing, that's the point of the quote, that's the meat, is the old carpenter asked me if I really believed it happened. This is all not taken out of context.